Now that my brain doesn't work the way it used to, I tend to make a lot of stupid mistakes and forget a lot of things. Well, what I forgot today was to turn the camera on, so I ended up missing at least the first half hour of the process here. So while I'm waiting for my soldering iron to heat up, I put the axle mount bolts back in. As you can see, the new brake unit's already on the scooter there. So I'll give you a summary of what's happened up till now. Tech guy came by this morning and dropped off the brake unit, and before he left he wanted to make sure it was the right one, so he kind of compared it to the old one, looked at the scooter and that, and he says it should work. So okay, good to go. So I start looking at it, and the brake unit that's on the ES950 right now has two wires going into it. One goes directly into the brake itself, and one goes to the switch, and the other side of the switch goes into the brake. Well, on the new one, it's got two wires that go to the switch and another two wires on a plug that goes directly into the brake. So there's twice as many wires. So my first thought is I can't alter this, because if it doesn't work I can't send it back because I've altered it. So on the other hand, looking at the old one, everything's in series. If one wire goes into the brake, then another one comes out of the brake, goes to the switch, and then that wire goes back to the scooter. So I figured the two wires going into the brake, I could take one and put it in series with the switch, and then the other end of the switch can go back to the scooter, and that'll give me the two wires. So I got a bunch of jumper wires out and tested it, and everything worked fine. So it's okay, so it's gonna work. It's okay to alter it because it's not gonna go back. So I did that and put everything together, and everything's working, and tested it, and all is good. So that's where we're at this point. And once I gotta put it on, it's a little bit different. The brake release lever is a separate piece. It's bolted on or screwed on. It's a little bit different, but as long as it works, I'm fine with that. Axle bolts are now back in, and soldering iron's ready to go. So I'm just kind of putting everything together now. If you're wondering why I'm soldering, I don't like using connectors, I don't like using plugs in a situation where something's gonna be removed a lot. That's fine. On the back of the seat I have the camera supply mounted to it, and I'm using a trailer plug to plug it in. That way I can take the seat off, just unplug the power supply, and it's good to go. In that situation I kind of have to use a plug, but the brake unit isn't going anywhere. It's a permanent connection, so I'm soldering. And usually I just either use electrical tape or heat shrink tubing. I don't have any tubing left, so and it'll be all taped up and as weather sealed as I can get it. maybe someday in the future I'll get a better soldering iron. This one's designed for circuit boards and that. It doesn't have the power to heat up these thicker wires and that. It just takes a little longer. The wattage just isn't there. But that's what I bought it for originally anyways. So I'm not really doing, now that my eyes have gone bad on me, I'm not really doing a whole lot of circuit stuff anymore. So it's mostly thicker wires that I'm dealing with. So I think it's time I got a new one. And here I'm tightening the screws on the brake release lever. Like I said before, it's two-piece, and the screws were just kind of put in the holes just so that they're there. So I'm tightening them up. Now I gotta put the brake unit on the end of the motor shaft. There's a hex nut, and the brake unit has a hex hole that has to line up with that, and it's kind of fussy just trying to get it in the right spot. Sorry for blocking the view here. The screw holes are really small, and as you can see, they're pretty difficult to get at. And a little extra light just helps a bit. But thankfully, there's only 3. One of them's out in the open. It's really simple. The other 2 are kind of underneath, down inside, really hard to reach. So now I've got it all together. I'm going to try it out. And the scooter went into error mode, so I had it in manual. So put it in drive. It's not working. It's doing the exact same thing as the old brake unit was doing. You can hear it trying to go, but the axle's not spinning. Uh-oh. The only thing I can think of is maybe I've got it too tight, so I'm going to try to loosen the screws a little bit and see what happens. to loosen it a little bit to get it to work. It's working, but it's really, really hot. Almost too hot to touch it. I don't know if they're supposed to heat up. There's a coil inside, so they're going to generate a bit of heat, but I'm going to have to ask about that, I think. Ow. So at this point, I'm taking a nice long break, just kind of weighing my options. No, really disappointed. Kind of hoping to get this thing going and save the monster from more salt spray. But if I can't get the weather cap on, the brake unit's going to be fully exposed to the salt and everything, and it won't take long to self-destruct. So at this point, I'm giving up. The ES950 is just, I'm tired of putting energy and money into it. It's getting old. It's rusting really good. So I think it's time to just kind of throw in the towel. I've got it working. I can use it, but I don't know how long it's gonna last for me. So maybe I'll just kind of turn it on every once in a while, activate the brake to keep it from seizing up, and just use it as a backup in the summertime. I'm not sure what else to do, really. I can't send the brake unit back now because I've cut the wires, altered it. The fact that it didn't fit right from the beginning, that should have been a kind of telling point, that something's up. But the holes on the cap don't even line up with it, so it's obviously not the right one. But it's working. It's as far as I'm going to take it. It's not a big deal. I like how the monster drives in the snow anyways, and I'm sure you guys want to see it. It's impressive. So come springtime, I'm just going to make sure I clean it off really well and keep everything lubricated. And at least on the monster, all the electronics, all the important stuff is all enclosed. With this one, the ES950, everything's just kind of open, and all the snow and everything piles up inside and coats everything, so it's all exposed to it. So maybe the monster will handle it a little bit better. But time will tell.